Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, please view the previous episodes. Happy listening. So, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. I never had this kind of push and pull with anybody. As hard as it was to leave Lance, it was very clear. It was very clear and very clear that he was capable of nothing. He felt nothing. He was capable of nothing. He wanted nothing. He probably did want something, but in my opinion, it was nothing because he did nothing. He was nothing. You know, he left me so quickly. It took us almost a year to break up, but he had left me. Part of Greg's situation is he's in love with being in love, and I realized this later on. He's in love with the attention. He's in love with being in love. And my situation, our situation was so positive. Like a fucking infant fucking nothing. He really just thought he could swap us out. He thought, to me, you're going to be the friend, and she's going to be my girlfriend, and she's going to simply give me what you gave me. It was so, it was just so fucking pathetic. It was beyond pathetic. So it took me a while to obviously, it was so painful. And I literally, and I know that a lot of you can relate to this, but leaving him was like tearing a limb off from myself emotionally. Like I felt like a limb was being torn from me, and I just couldn't hold on to it, couldn't process it, couldn't understand it, but it was an emotional limb. So that's how painful it was because I still continue to have contact with him even when he was with her, because I didn't I didn't know how to function. I didn't I didn't know how to be. Okay, and I know a lot of dysfunctional situations are like that, or the baby mama drama shit crap. Okay, and I get that, and it is what it is. And I'm sure it's the same type of pain. You invest in somebody you believe in. It doesn't matter that it's garbage. You believe in it, you invest in it. But I didn't know how. I just didn't I didn't know how to be without him. And these kind, like what I'm saying is usually in a very toxic, abusive, back and forth and all of that. But imagine something healthy. Just imagine. I'm sure you can't, but just imagine something healthy. I should have never believed, but I did because it was. It was good. It was loving. It, it was everything. But obviously it wasn't because it wouldn't have crumbled that easily. Okay. So I go through all the things of a breakup and somewhere in there his sister contacts me. Now, when Greg and I broke up, um I said to him, I don't want you or your family to contact me because even though his mother and his father was the crux of do what you want, you'll always regret if you don't choose her because that was the way they were going to get grandkids. But anyway, um, you know, you need to do, you'll always wonder what if. You need to, even though they were at the crux of the but again, I said to him because at some point he said to me, "Well, my parents," I said, "I don't want to be with anybody that could be that influenced by anything when what you're leaving was good." Like that shows a real lot of what you are not, and what you don't have. You know, he didn't blame it on his parents, but he did in a sense because there's such a codependence there. And I can't even go into it right now. So I told him, I don't want you or your parents to contact me because that's how close we were that I knew that they would try to contact me. It just because we felt so guilty that they kept trying to contact me to smooth it over. And I was like, yeah, I was like, sucks to be you to not have to smooth that over. It's not going to get smoothed over, and I'm going to make it really clear it's not going to get. So his people were kind of trying to sort of contact me, not because they understood. I'm sorry, hold on. Greg evidently conveyed a lot of guilt. Guilt for what? He didn't love me. What is there guilt about? I didn't really the only thing I felt guilt about Bob, it wasn't that I was breaking up with him, it was how I broke up with him. Now, Greg dragged me out for almost a year. I kind of dragged it out with Bob for 2 weeks. Okay, but the way I went about it still wasn't right. So what guilt? What guilt? You obviously are comfortable in the decision, whether you feel it or whether you've been talked into it. What guilt? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think the guilt had to be like, if this bimbo doesn't not work out, I'm not going to have anything. And he knew that. And he knew that. And he said that to me. He didn't say that directly, but he said that to me while we were breaking up. "Oh, if this and I won't have that." He wasn't that clear because I would have said, "Fuck you. Go fuck yourself in the ass." Um, but he alluded to the fact. Basically, it was he didn't give a shit about leaving me. He gave a shit about leaving himself high and dry. Again, not like a piece of shit, like an underdeveloped piece of shit. Okay. There's a difference. The end result is still the same, but the motive is kind of different. So when you're just like a piece of shit and you're like, yeah, I don't give a shit, whatever. Okay. That's one thing. When you're like, I am so underdeveloped and such a nothing that I don't have any concept of anything, the real result is still the same. Devastation, harm, hurt, whatever. Okay. So I told him, I don't want you to contact me. I don't want your parents to contact me. Okay. So months and months and months go by. And at some point, his sister, who was significantly younger than him, so if he was 25, he was 18, so whatever, 7 years or whatever. And she was kind of innocent, underdeveloped the way he was. So she said to me, she texted me and she said, oh, I don't mean to bother you, but I got an alert in my email that it was your birthday. And I don't understand how this happened because, you know, after the breakup, there was no, basically, she was saying, I don't have any, in a nice way, she was saying, I don't have you in any of my contacts or alerts or anything like that anymore. Okay. She's like, I don't understand. All of a sudden, I got an alert that it was your birthday, and I just felt like it was a sign to wish you happy birthday. So, what happened with that was that I think she was being genuine because I know they're innocent, they're sweet, they're nice, they're naive, they're underdeveloped, whatever. Okay. But I thought there was a piece of, because my take on everything. Of course, it's not going to work out, Greg. It doesn't matter how much you want it. It doesn't matter how many times you try. Nothing works out, whether you're the same age or you're not the same age or whatever. Nothing works. So I just assumed, okay, because he said, oh, 2 weeks within our relationship, I knew something was wrong, which meant she was a mistake. Would not use those words. That's what it meant. Oh, something was wrong, which meant she was a fucking mistake. Okay. Anyway, and just bear with me as I'm drinking. Um, so the sister said, I kind of thought it was a sign to wish you happy birthday. And I kind of thought it was genuine, but I also kind of thought that he put her up to it. Okay, so at that time, I still had his number in my phone. I don't have it. Like, I wouldn't even recognize it even if he texted me. So I simply said thank you, and I stewed and I stewed and I stewed because this really pissed me off. I told you that I don't want you or your family to contact me. And what happens? This in my so what I was thinking at the time was the second your fucking little garbage relationship crumbles, you get your sister up to contact me because you're too much of a coward to love me, break up with me, and reach out to me. That's how I felt. Okay. So I let it stew. I let it stew because I did not want to contact him, did not want anything to do with him. And I kind of felt honestly that she was genuine because I know whatever you think you know stuff. And once you know things, everything is, questionable, but whatever. So 3, 4, 5 days go by. And I said, I texted him and I said, what did I tell you about you or your family contacting me? You're such a fucking coward. You get your sister to contact me. and you don't even have enough fucking balls to contact me yourself. And I go on and on and on. Okay. So if you had made the mistake of your life, left something that you believed you loved for what I knew, you didn't even have to tell me. I knew it was garbage. I knew that relationship was going to be like a fucking joke because 99% of relationships don't work out and they're a fucking joke. But people insist on keeping it together for whatever reason, right? So I thought his response, I just assumed they broke up by now. He was long in the dust because nothing worked out. And it was again, it was poor me, poor me, poor me. Oh no, I didn't set my sister up to it. I wouldn't have done that. If I wanted to contact you, I would have done that myself. I've been through so much. I had to grow up. I had to learn this and I had to learn that. And then I learned that what I left behind was what I wanted. Again, all this kind of bullshit. But it was 95% about bimbo. Like her and me and us and but that's all he like went on and on and on. So I just assumed they broke up. I just assumed you got your comeuppance, right? Like who would be stupid enough? Who would be stupid enough to continue with this fucking garbage charade? Like you threw away something you admittedly said you did not want it to end and that you liked. So threw me away at the drop of a hat. Bought her a house, bought her an engagement ring, took her on a real vacation, which I never got, all of this stuff. So let me get into that.